Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Midweek Fixture podcast. I'm HÜRZELER, and today, after last week's very long hour and 4-minute episode with Annabelle, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and so did Annabelle, and thanks for all the views on it, really appreciated it. It was a fun video to make. But after that, just a short video today, so I'm not having you all sit around for another few hours. But yeah, quick review of Brighton and how Fabian Hurzeler sets up his team. And if you enjoyed this type of video, and you want me to go further in depth in tactics and stuff like that, let me know. Click the like button, subscribe, and I'll create a separate tactics video, maybe once a month on different teams, and we'll go from there and see if you enjoy it. But yeah, sit back, relax, welcome back to Midweek Fixture. Oh, also, I hope everyone is having a great December and is looking forward to Christmas, because of course, it's coming soon. Got the Christmas jumper on today, got the tinsel there, as I said in the last video. But yeah, let's crack on. Maybe 10 minutes today. Nothing too strenuous for you all, just to look at how Hurzeler sets up his team. So, of course, let's look at the predominant formation that he uses, because he's used a couple of little tweaks, as in Dunk come back in against Southampton, and a back three was used for the final 15, 20 minutes, but he's only used that once or twice. So the main formation is a 4-2-3-1 formation, very fluid, as I'm sure you're all aware, no midfield, which is the case sort of with the way the two midfielders push up, but we'll get to that in a minute. Starting in goalkeeper, sort of a sweeper keeper role. Big focus on playing the passes, not just short but also long, keeping the attacks ticking over, moving the ball forward, keeping the ball with us. And that's for Bruggen at the moment, and it probably will be for Bruggen for the rest of the season. I mean, I'd hope so, unless he picks up an injury. Touch wood, he doesn't. Very good on the ball. Short passing, long passing to start the counter-attack, start attacks if we need to go long. Not too dissimilar to how we were before with De Zerbi, but there was definitely less of going a bit longer. De Zerbi was so adamant on kicking the ball short from the goal kicks and just in terms of possession with anyone on the pitch. But goalkeeper, quite a normal role, I'd say, nowadays, that most people are familiar with. Similar to Edison as well. Then we move on to the centre-backs. Very interesting, this. Very different, sort of different, maybe not very different, but different to how he played with St. Pauli. He had Eric Smith as a central centre-back that pushed up into the midfield. That doesn't really happen too often, as it's now a back four at Brighton. At the moment, it is Van Heck and Igor. Igor does press up into the midfield a little bit. Whether that's tactical, whether that's just his decision, I'm not sure. He must be told that he can do that, otherwise I'm sure he wouldn't do it. Quite a basic role once again for the centre-backs, even when Dunkey's in there as well. Just ball-playing centre-backs, really. Defend, but also starting the attacks. They can also drive up with the ball as well, but not too ridiculous sometimes, as we do like to be high anyway. So it's an interesting role there. Quite basic, but I love a ball-playing centre-back. Pinging the balls like out wide. Van Heck does it a lot. Dunk does it a lot. Igor not so much, but he definitely carries the ball. Even though statistically, I believe Van Heck has had the most progressive ball carries in the league this season. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw that the other day. Then we get into the fullbacks. Another interesting role. All roles in football are interesting, to be fair. Right back, when it's Veltman, does push forward, but it's quite conservative, I'd say, more traditional fullback. That is also his style of fullback as well. So Hurzeler plays that to his strengths. Also, Kadioglu, when he plays there, is very different to how Veltman plays. He inverts quite a lot. I guess that's also how he played before at Fenerbahce and his previous clubs, but there's quite a lot of inverting going on from Kadioglu. But he also does like to get high and wide and whip that ball in with his crosses. Very good at crossing. Also scored a couple of goals when he gets into the box high, as you saw against Liverpool. Great finish with his right foot off the post into the far left corner. Fullbacks like to get high. And then you look on the left-hand side, it is now Pervis Estupinian's spot once again. A very, very, very attacking fullback. Basically a left winger at points. Can defend very well, does his defensive job, but he likes to get forward, drive past Mitoma, whip the balls in, make the overlaps to give Mitoma space, or even underlap sometimes for Mitoma to go on the outside. Quite another modern role for a fullback, I'd say. More like an attacking wingback, if anything. And then we get into the two midfielders. The most interesting part of this whole team, I'd say. You have a 6 and an 8, sort of. We'll start with the 8 and then we'll come back to the 6. The 8's role is almost like a false 10. Ayari's been playing there mostly, but you also have O'Reilly who's come back now, who I believe will take that spot, the starting spot, very, very soon, as he did against Southampton. He picks up those little pockets in spaces that are there. You wouldn't expect a traditional 8 to go there, more like a 10, but slightly deeper, you'd say. A false 10. He sort of goes anywhere, go out wide to pick up spaces, in the striker's pocket to pick up spaces, maybe a bit deeper if you need him. Very, very cool role there. And it really worked against it. We drew the game, of course, but the way O'Reilly was picking the pockets up to create the chances was very, very good. And Ayari does it as well. Maybe not as noticeable as O'Reilly, because they're a slightly different profile of player. But the way that Hurzeler wants that 8 is more like an attacking midfielder. And then we come back to the 6. Carlos Baleba, the player in the squad who plays his role the best. Weaver, fantastic player, needs more time to adapt, but I don't think he'll play the role similar to Baleba. Weaver will probably be more like a traditional 6, just defending that back line, winning the ball, intercepting, and then playing the passes, whereas Baleba is told, but probably just because of his energy and his athleticism, to counter-press a lot, which we'll get onto in a second. Main role as a 6, defend the box, defend the back line, win the ball. Fine, Baleba does that very well, makes his tackles, but then he likes to progress up the pitch with the ball, drive forward, which you may not see a 6 do that often a few years ago, but he likes to start those attacks, charge straight towards the back line, pick the passes, have a shot potentially. But then this is where it gets interesting, counter-pressing. Baleba will do the job of a traditional 6, but 20 yards higher up the pitch. He will counter-press. As soon as he loses that ball, anyone loses that ball, he'll be straight on it. Whether it's the centre-back that's got it, the right-back that's got it, the midfielder that's got it, he will immediately go and attack that ball, which he did against City, and which is why Brighton won the game, pretty much. Not much going on in midfield in the first half, pretty passive, and then suddenly Baleba comes on, loses the ball, and he's pressing the centre-back on the edge of their own box, winning the ball back, creating disruption, and then straight creating chances, counter-attack straight away from winning that ball back. Big, big role, and I'm most likely going to do a video on counter-pressing itself very soon, also an article in the next few weeks, months, depends how quickly I get it done and what time I've got, as it's part of a uni essay. Counter-pressing article will be going up soon-ish, and also, speaking of articles, a very cool, interesting other article about strikers in the Premier League, also for uni, will definitely be published very, very soon. Big stats focus coming onto the channel soon, as we all love stats, I'm sure, and it makes interesting viewing and reading. Enough about the midfield now. We'll do a long video about counter-pressing soon and the article, as I said, but now we push up into the forward 4, sort of the 3, go on to the striker a bit later. We'll start with the 10. João Pedro. 10, false 9, bit of a mixture of roles there. Usually is Pedro since his return. Ruta has played there as well, and Cisse can play there as well. So can Brian Gruder. But we'll stick with Pedro for now, as he's the one is his position. Picks up the pockets, a traditional 10 would. Also drops deep to pick up the ball, create those attacks, driving with the ball, playing the little passes. Also able to get into the striker's position to score the goals, which is very, very important. As out of possession, in possession is quite different. In possession, Pedro they like him high. Hurzeler likes him high. Out of possession, it's slightly more conservative, not that much, but just a traditional 10 really, or a trickster, that more of a football manager role that people like to use that term now. A striker that can play a bit deeper, a role that I'm sure people will be more familiar with now, but everyone sees how Pedro plays. Now we get on to the left winger, Mitoma. Matoma's Matoma. Drive, pace down the line, cut inside, play the pass, shoot, go down the line, beat his man. That has not changed for Matoma. That is his role. Then we go on to the right wing, and it depends who's playing, I think. Minte, if Minte is starting, that is similar to Matoma, driving with the ball, inside, outside, at the back line, with the pace, whipping the balls in. Shots as well, very similar. Then you have Jorginho Ruta there, who hasn't really played as a right winger before at his previous clubs. Sorry, excuse me. Winter cold's coming already. We're only on the 3rd of December. 4th of December. What are we on? 4th of December. Brighton play Fulham tomorrow. Maybe you can see these tactics in action, hopefully. But yes, Jorginho Ruta out on the right. Guess he'll go wide and he'll beat his man. Likes to drift inside quite a lot as well, which is sort of his style. He likes in that middle of the pitch. Yeah, cut inside, have a few shots. Very unlucky against Southampton not to score, hitting the post, cutting the side on his left foot. And then you have Brian Gruder, pretty similar to Ruta. Maybe a bit more out wide than Ruta predominantly is, but he also can come inside. Very interesting role there. Has impressed when he's played for Brighton, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him soon over the Christmas period, and one to certainly look out for. And then we get up front, Danny Welbeck. Up front, traditional 9 really, pacing behind, holding the ball up, bringing Pedro and the wingers into the attack, also making the space for O'Reilly to come into the gaps like you saw against City. But yeah, not much to say on the striker really. The job is to score goals, press as well. Everyone counter presses, really important that everyone makes that press. Welbeck's movement as well, as I said, is important, as you saw against Bournemouth, dragging the defender out to make the space for Pedro to pass and Matoma run. But yeah, that is Hürzeler's system in a nutshell. Quite a basic little analysis. If people weren't sure about it, watch the game tomorrow. I'm sure you'll see that in action, depending on who is back in the squad. Quite a few returns, I believe. Solly March back soon as well. That'll be interesting to see how he fits into the system. But yeah, if you like this sort of video and you want to see really in-depth detail, got a, you can't see it, graphics tablet down here that can be used to do some analysis on. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments, subscribe, like, all of that stuff. You know what to do. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If you think I got anything wrong with the tactics, let me know. Be interested to hear how you see it differently to me. But yeah, see you next week. No idea what's going on next week with the video, so that'll be a surprise for you. But yeah, have a good Christmas. I'll see you next week. Like, subscribe, smash the whatever you want to smash, the comments. Adios. See you next week. Actually, no, I won't. I'll see you on Friday for a very cool, very big vlog that me and Annabelle did, as you already know. But yeah, adios.